this is for February 6 class, given that we still have the FASMIN activity in the university. So we will be having our class as synchronous. So this will be our recording for our next topic, which is basically we are now at the second chapter of our discussion titled Human and Computer Language. So just a short recap on the first chapter. We already discussed three main topics, which are the following. First is the computer systems. We discuss on the components of computer systems, which includes the hardware, the software, and the peopleware. Second topic, we discuss on the Internet of Things. So we discuss the main components of IoT, such as the communication, which is the medium, the sensors and the modules, at the same time the microcontrollers like the Arduino and the Raspberry Pi. And the last topic, which is the assistive technology. So both the assistive technology and IoT were also recorded because we have a schedule that we will get to discuss it this week. So today we will be starting our second chapter of the class, which again, as introduced earlier, this is the human and computer language. So initially, we use language to be able to communicate to one another. So we have spoken languages, we also have non-verbal languages, and we also have what we call as sign languages, as we use, or some for those unfortunate are using it as their main language. So similar to human language, computer also have its own language to be able to process and to be able to communicate to other devices. So as we discussed on IoT, we discussed that there is a communication between multiple devices. One sends information and the other receives it, and if there is an expected feedback, the device receiving an information coming from another device sends back a specific feedback or status per se if that is needed in the communication. So similar to that, computer also has their language itself. So sa atin, sa human, we do have multiple languages. Even in the Philippines, we have multiple dialects. So for this chapter rather, we will be discussing ano yung mga computer languages and how are we going to understand the computer languages so that we can communicate it properly as human to provide tasks, instructions, and etc. So let me just start the presentation by comparing the two languages. So this is the human language and the computer language. Now, first, in terms of context, ano yung context ng both languages? Now, when we talk about human language, this is in a way that we display emotions. We also express social cues, abstract concepts, and storytelling. So meaning, medyo marami tayong different na ways to communication in terms of context. However, in the context of computer language, it is a program instruction. Thus, technically, yung term na programming is we are just giving instruction to the computer for it to execute something. So kaya nga program instructions. That's the idea, or that's the core idea behind programming. Of course, yung data, yung output, memory allocation, that is how programming language or the computer works. So generally, it's just the core functionality of the computer language. Second, in terms of structure, when we talk about the human language, it's flexible na grammar. We sometimes use wrong grammar, but we understood ano yung gustong sabihin or how the information is being, what it meant actually by the information, regardless if wrong grammar or hindi. Okay? Even we use other languages. Like for example, if you're watching anime, we're using anime or yung mga K-drama, which is medyo fun sa mga Gen Zs. So basically, those are information we don't know, we don't speak the native language of Nihongo or sa Korean, but we understood it via conversion. So we are flexible in terms of our specific na understanding in terms of other languages. So we have pragmatics, we also phonetics, kaya nga sa elementary as early as preschool, I guess, or the grade 1, they are introduced with sounds, like the sounds of the letters in the school, so that they will know how to read and how to properly read or say a specific word or sound. We have also a verbose vocabulary, our language accents, and etc. So that's for the human language. In terms of structure naman, in terms of computer language, unlike the human language, yung structure ng computer language is medyo rigid, and for more or less, yung semantics and syntax niya is medyo hindi siya as flexible as human. Syntax and semantics is more or less how we put instruction. So later, we will be showing some of the instructions na ginagamit natin for coding or giving instructions to computer. Yung program statements are very well defined. So when we say rigid, kapag mali yung ginamit na instruction, the execution or the program or the computer will not execute the program or the instruction at all. Unlike sa human language na flexible, kahit wrong grammar, we can understand it. Kapag programming language, kapag mali, yung syntax, mali talaga. It causes error. Kaya nga maraming, if you will get to ask IT students, most of them kapag mag-program, yung mga errors, they will encountering more errors than running actual codes. Okay? More or less ginagawa is fixing the codes. We call it debugging in the programming na context. Okay? So, we also use linking of program statements and etc. when we talk about the structure of a computer language. Last, how about the forms? Okay, so the forms of human language are very, I could say, dynamic. At the same time, maraming options. We can have verbal, non-verbal, written, visual, and yung mga gestures. So kahit sometimes yung blink lang ng mata, alam na natin or at least may meaning na yon para sa human. Okay? For computer naman, so it uses binary strings. Okay? Yung 101010. Kaya nga when you do search something about the internet, about computers, you might notice that there is 10101010. It represents basically the core language of computer, which we'll be discussing on the second lesson of this chapter. So yung computer language also has different levels. So we have high level and the low level na mga languages, even in the programming aspect. Okay? So again, this is just a difference between the human and computer language. So to sum it up, computer language is more on rigid, following specific codes, following syntax and semantics. Unlike human language which is more flexible, computer language is rigid and very straightforward for execution. Okay. So, ano yung types ng computer language? So, first is we have the low-level programming language and the high-level programming language. We also have some scripting language, but more or less, yung commonly na identified is the low-level and the high-level programming language. So when we talk about low-level programming language, the structure depends on the hardware of the computer system. It is basically extremely fast in execution, but it is very hard to master and understand. Now, some example of this is the assembly, which is one of the most critical applications, especially in healthcare and security. When we talk about low level, this is the closest to the computer language, which is yung 1010 or the binary language as we call it. Okay? So this is very hard to understand because this is very far from the language na ginagamit natin na tao, because we use language like letters and numbers. Yes, it can be represented by letters and numbers, but it will be more on-coded masyado siya compared to other programming language or yung ibang level ng language. Once we talk about high-level programming language naman, it focuses on readability, simplicity, and the versatility. Now, when we discuss on the difference between low level and high level, ito yung parang madali na analogy. For human, kasi once we give instruction to computer, di ba I call it as programming kanina. That's a definition of programming. Once we make instruction to computer, we will have an options, either you will be using a low-level programming language or a high-level programming language. For a programmer, if you wanted to have easier na pag-code or pag-provide ng instructions, you will be most likely to use the high-level programming language. But it will be requiring a lot of compilation and translation so that it will be executed by the computer. Okay? So kaya nga, if you're familiar with the term compile, when you run a specific program, high level, it compiles, it translates to be able for the computer to understand it. Similar to what we are doing in subtitle when we're watching K-drama and anime also. So kapag nanonood tayo ng anime or K-drama, basically we are understanding what they are saying even though we are not familiar with the native language na ginagamit nila through a translation. So when we do provide instruction, when we use high level, easy siya, like we are just saying it in English, but in English naman, tinatranslate to be able to be understood by other language. So for example, sa anime, they're using Nihongo. So for us to understand ano yung sinasabi nila, tinatranslate yung Nihongo na language. So for example, the phrase, Ohayo gozaimasu. So that is basically, I suppose that's good morning at some point. Tapos, ano pa yung thank you. So parang arigato, something for a thank you. So we don't use those terms kasi we are Filipinos. But we understood that because there is a translation that when you say Ohayo gozaimasu, that means good morning. So when I put instruction to computer, I will be just using my language, which is more or less high level, more on English-like, and it will be translated automatically to a language that the computer needs to execute then. If I will be using a low-level programming language, then I need to learn how to speak and how those language ng Nihongo. So I need to say it na parang automatically maiintindihan without translation. So that's the difference between the high level and the low level programming language. Yung high level, easy to code ng tao, but longer to execute kasi it needs translation. Yung low level naman, easier to execute ng computer kasi it is very close or it is the language of the computer itself. The third type is more on the scripting, which is uses and it also interprets the an automation of computing tasks and facilitates interaction between software and hardware. So in terms of writing also, yung mga scripting language like JavaScript are basically similar or at least medyo meron silang similarity on the high-level programming language. So ito lang yung parang main distinction ng dalawang classification lang, yung low-level and the high-level programming language. Now, this is an example of a high-level programming language. So as you can see here, ayun. So sir, bakit na nangyari? I thought it's easier to understand yung high-level programming language. Yes, truth to be told, this is how programming works. This is very easy na to understand, unlike yung low-level programming language. So example here is a high-level programming language which shows us the structure on how we code. So ito yung ginagawa ng mga programmers. So if you can show this one to an IT student, at least a first-year student, should be able to understand ano yung ginagawa ng code na ito. So we have int x is equal to 5 semicolon. The next line is double y is equal to 5.0 semicolon. Then string s is equal to quote unquote hello world semicolon, and we have print x plus y inside a parenthesis semicolon. So a computer language is basically made up of statements which each statement corresponds to a specific particular instructions that needs for execution. Okay? So at some point we just give instruction. These instructions is translated to and compiled then if ever ano yung kailangan na i-execute ng specific line or totality of the code. So once this is just a sort of understanding the language. So once this is executed, each line or each character is being translated and given, meron siya tinatawag na semantics. Ano yung meaning ng instruction? So syntax is how we put the instructions correctly. Semantics, on the other hand, is how these instructions is interpreted. So most programming language, like this one, is more or less um, similar or common to programming languages. Meron silang level of types, and this syntax is how we define the how to provide instructions. Yun yung meaning ng syntax. So there's always a syntax that we need to follow. Like if we are using in English, that will be the subject-verb agreement. And kapag computer language naman, we have this syntax na ginagamit. Semicolon means end of the line. So meaning, computer will understand this as one line, meaning may semantics na needs to be understood with this line compared to another semantics for this line again. Okay? So this means that every semicolon means end of the line. Okay? Now, in this case, a high-level programming language, it is required for every statement that should end by a semicolon. So this means that, again, as I mentioned kanina, after the semicolon, the next statements or the next instructions are considered second line or the next line. So sir, what will happen if int x is equal to 5, semicolon, tas nakadugtong dito or here, it follows the double y equal to 5.0 semicolon without space in between them. Now, the computer also understands that again, every semicolon, new line. So regardless if you have written this in one line lang, itong buong 4 lines, into one single line, but may semicolon after each line, this will be interpreted as 4-line instructions in a program execution. Now, let's discuss some of the components. So this is what we call as the data types. So data type refers to the type of data a variable holds. Kasi this 1, 2, 3 line here is more or less, this is how we declare a variable. Then once we declare a variable, there should be a data type. You cannot declare a variable in some programming language without a data type because that is the syntax or that's the rule that needs to be followed. Kapag you do not follow the rule, then it will give you an error. Okay? So it refers to the data type. So this also influences how much memory a variable will be able to use. Kasi it defines ano yung memory allocation ng individual data type. So for example, when you say int is basically short for integer. Integer is a whole number, both positive and negative. Yung double is basically double precision for Java, and this means that you have decimal places. Okay? String means a string of text. So, kaya gumagamit tayo ng double quote to include hello world. So, meaning, integer, this is double precision for our decimal places, and this is string of text, or string of characters rather. Okay. So, integer numbers, it consumes 4 bytes. Double, decimal numbers, consumes 8 bytes. Then a character the string is a sequence of character which uses the memory allocation depends on the number of characters in that string. So for example, yung hello world, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 including the space, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 characters included. Okay? So again, that's data type. Then the next will be now our variable. So the variable is just something that we declare to hold a specific value for specific data type. So meaning, x has the value of 5, and x can only hold integer number kasi it is defined as int. Y has the value of 5.0. I can have this one as 5.3 or 2.25 for as long as it is or it has a decimal value, then y can handle it correctly or it will not give an error. String, again, this is a series or sequence of characters. So meaning whatever you can give to the value of s for as long as it is a series of characters. So variable contains the data that they're processed or being inputted from the specific output. Okay? Next is this execution. Kanina, we just focused on the first 3. The fourth one is print. When you say print in most programming language, it shows or it displays an output. So this statement can be understood as we will going to output the result of adding the two variables of x and y. So what's the value of the x? The value of x is 5. What's the value of y? So which is 5. So the result is 10.0. So bakit may point 0? Kasi double, it has already a point something or 0.0 to be exact for this one. So the result is 10.0. Again, yung value ng x is 5. The value of y is 5.0. So the result is 10.0. So that's basically how we teach students the basic of programming language, but parang crash course na nangyari to. But this is just how we call it as elementary programming. Okay? Now, we have also in programming, in creating instructions again to computer, we have blocks. Yung mga may curly braces. So, this is the start of a curly brace. Ang partner niya to is this one. We have additional block also. Yung if I, percent, we call the percent as a modulus operator. So, I modulus of 2 is that equal to 0. So, yung partner ng open curly brace is this one. Under ng if statement, else na block, open parenthesis, open curly brace, and partner niya is this one. So, you have technically 3 block of statements here, which is what we call as a control blocks. Okay? We have looping structures na control, and we have also decision blocks that we are using. So, for this one, while I daw is less than to 50. Then it iterates and it checks if that is even or it's odd. So the loop are control blocks where a group of statements will be repeated. Yung term na loop, it loops back to the statement until such time a condition is met. Okay? So kaya nga nagpa plus 1 dito. Plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. Kasi it will come in a time that I will become 50. Is 50 less than 50? Then the answer is false. Then it will stop the condition from continuous loop. Okay? So that's the loop na control block. We have also, wait lang. This one is the loop condition pala. This is I mentioned kanina na mag-trigger ng false. It will end the condition. We have also blocks for conditional statements. So these blocks are executed only if the condition is met. So again, if I modulus 2 is equal to 0, modulus is basically, it returns the remainder. So, kailan natin makukuha yung remainder? Once we divide something. So, may remainder daw. So, for example, I. What's the current value of I? Modulus 2 is that equal to 0. So, I basically cannot be divided to 2 kasi ang mangyayari dyan is that will give you invalid. So supposedly if we have is 1 modulus 2, so the remainder is that 0, the answer is no, so it will print add. So if the value is 2 modulus 2 equal to 0, 2 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. So is that equal to 0? Yes, then it will print even. So the approach lang or the function of this code here as presented is it will just return is even and is odd if the value is odd or even. Okay? So, yun. So that's just how we put instructions to computers. So next, the next part of the discussion is the generation of computers. So understanding the computer language also needs or merits the understanding of how computers evolve over time. So the emergence of modern computers we use and see today is just a product of a continuous evolutions at the same time innovation. So kaya nga if you can still remember, I don't know if you have reached those time na yung mga phones pa natin is keypad, then it evolved to a full touchscreen. Ngayon we have folding phones. Maybe in a few years siguro we could have holographic na, etc. Even now, the last year, maraming medyo progressive ang parang vision natin in terms of ano yung parang headgears natin. Sorry naman. So we have si Apple, yung Apple Vision Pro, si Oculus naman, yung parang VR headsets niya, which dominates not only in terms of games lang, but they are trying to be more on a possible replacement to our cell phones. Okay? So, starting from the largest computer, taking hundreds of square meters, capable of simple operations. Yeah, this is very true. Yung mga very old computers. Today, we have a very small chip that could do whatever complicated things in a millionth of a second. So, yung diniscuss natin in one of our lectures when we, yung speed ng ating processor. So, if you have 3.1 gigahertz, that's basically billions of cycles, 3.1 billions of cycles na speed in terms of processing. So we have our cell phones today, which are way more powerful compared to our devices, even computers, yung mga 10 years old na mga computers din. Okay? And again, this is a product of continuous research, evolution, and innovation in the field of computer. So the first generation, this is basically more on from 1940s to 1950s. These are the generation of computers wherein it makes use of a whole room. So can you imagine siguro a whole basketball court? So yung whole basketball court is just a one computer na ginagamit lang. Okay? And those isang computer that will occupy one basketball court size can only execute one program at a time, and it cannot do multitasking. So, if you can comprehend that, you will be thinking, so computers before are dumb compared to today. And yes, because all computers in this generation are being created for one specific task lang. There are computers during World War na, for example, German Z3, ano pa yung mga ginagamit sa warfare, which used to translate German na mga communications. Meron ding isang computer na ginagamit lang is just to design missile lang. And that's the only purpose, the sole purpose of the computer. And ang size naman niya is medyo malaki because the first generation of computers were basically using large vacuum tubes for yung logic circuit niya. Again, today's computer, we're using our transistor-based na CPU. And if you can still remember what we have discussed in our lectures, yung CPU, one of the components of CPU is we call it as the arithmetic and logic unit. So, this is just the parang counterpart ng logic unit na nasa CPU natin ngayon. So, this is just the vacuum tubes. Okay? So, they were so large that a 1-bit circuitry would require at least 90 vacuum tubes to work, which likely 190 light bulbs, so which utilizes also 350 to 400 watts of power. So, when we talk about the first generation, ito yung problems. I will give you 3 problems. First problem before is, siguro sa kanilang time, it's not a problem kasi it's an advancement. But if we compare it today, we can say that the 3 main problems of the first generation of computers are the following. First is the size. It has a very huge and it uses a lot of space. Not to mention yung mga cables, yung mga frames, yung mga components, and etc. Okay? Today, we're just being cell phones. Even yung mga smartwatch natin ngayon is way, way, way powerful compared to the first generation of computers. And we're just wearing it like it's nothing. Okay? So the size is a problem. Second problem is, in terms of electricity, it consumes a lot of electricity that time. Unlike yung mga cellphones natin ngayon, it can last siguro for about at least 8 hours a day. Or yung iba, it lasts longer. Okay? So, walang battery. Yung first generation, walang battery. But today, it can power laptops, cellphones, tablets, smartwatch, yung parang natin, mga headgears natin, yung mga VR headsets natin, and it lasts long. Okay? So the second problem is electricity consumption. The third is about functionality. First generation of computers can only execute what or how it is being designed to. So one functionality for its lifetime. Unlike today, we can just check on the App Store or Play Store, download another app so that we could have more functionalities to our cell phone or devices. So yun yung parang problema ng first generation. But it started. It started the generation of computers and it made computers today. Kung wala tong first generation, I'm not sure if how did we start or if today we are reaching the same technology ba as we are enjoying today. Okay? So let's proceed to the second generation. So when we talk about second generation, yun. Sorry, I have images pala dito for the first generation. So this is one of the sikat na parang isa sa mga pinaka-powerful na computers before. So it's the ENIAC. It's the first programmable electronic and general purpose computer, which is completed around 1945. So when we talk about general purpose computer, consider this one. Would you like to have this one at your home today? Of course not. If ang functionality niya is limited to one lang. Okay? And yung bills natin sa kuryente, ayun. So, nakaka-afford lang nito that time is just government level. So, they can fund extravagant na mga projects for operations and like this. Okay? Okay. Now, let's proceed to the second generation. Late 1950s to 1960s. So, the second generation of computers were made up of transistors. So, it removes completely the use of vacuum tubes and uses transistors. And I may tell you that we are still using transistors up to today. And this is how these transistors is very powerful. Okay? It powers our CPUs, it powers our computers, even until today. Okay? So with the improvement of hardware, came from the improvement also of the software. From low-level languages like assembly, we are now using high level of programming language. So for this one, it technically solves problems from the first generation, entirely yung parang tatlong main problems. It tries to solve everything. So your computer now can do additional tasks. Second, it does not consume a lot of electricity compared to vacuum tubes. And it has smaller size na yung mga computers natin. Starting on the second generation. So this is one of the parang mainstream na mga sikat na mga computers in the second generation. This is IBM 1401. IBM is isa sa mga staple na mga brands once we talk about computers. Isa din to sa mga reasons why we have technology na nag-advance yung si IBM. Okay? A transistor-based computer. So parang isang room kanina to just siguro parang maliit na cabinet na. So again, it reduces the size exponentially at some point, at the same time the power consumption and the capability to execute a lot of things. Another development in the second generation is the programming language. One of the pinasikat din na programming language is the Fortran, a formula translation and is a compiled and imperative na high-level programming language used for scientific and engineering tasks. So basically, it simplified the coding structures of numerical algorithms, statistical calculations, and simulations needed by the scientific community. One of the advancement also bakit may computer is because of mathematics and engineering. Sila yung parang mga advanced mathematical na calculations. Kaya nga yung term na computing does not only refer to numbers, but also to data. Kasi computing, yung mga computers was push forward before because they need more processing for mathematical computations and similar na mga projects. Okay? So, ito yung example ng Fortran na code. So, program hello, yung hello yung pangalan ng code, then implicit none, real, so that will be the assignment, add to number. So, parang similar lang, but without data type as we present kanina. A is equal to 12, B is equal to 15, then result is equal to A plus B. So, print, the total is the result. So, ano yung result ng value dito? So, the result is the value of A plus B. What's the value of A? That is 12. The value of B is 15. So, you have 27. So, end program hello, meaning you terminate the program execution. Okay? So, that would be the result. Okay? 27. Now, another programming language is COBOL. Okay, say, Common Business-Oriented Language was developed purposely for business applications. It uses the English-like codes were tailored for business like payroll and accounting. So this gave business enterprises the initiative to adopt computing technology. So yung mga application kasi ng computer is across different domains. So for you, most of my students here is agriculture. Yung parang ginagamit natin ngayon is more on smart farming and smart agriculture na mga projects. Which is, as we all know, IT is a multidisciplinary na domain. It can fit whatever. So let's say finance. There's an IT there. There's a computer development there. When we talk about education, yes, of course, there will always be a room for computers in education. When we talk about warfare, yeah, of course, government, we're using a lot of computing. Sa agriculture na side, yes, all disciplines, all industry uses computer. Okay? So this is an example of the COBOL program. Okay? So just this display, welcome to GEE 30. Okay? Ayun. Sige. So next is a third generation computer utilizes IC. So ito yung mga integrated circuits na. So yung makikita natin na mga parang motherboard-like na. So ang advancement nito is more or less yung mga board na natin na ginagamit today, which composed of small transistors and based on second generation computers. Yung pinakita ko sa inyo na anong tawag na CPU is one of one of the best example of an IC. Okay? So the minification of computer components lead towards to hardware being integrated to the computer. So it leads to better performance and more functionalities being introduced. So if I'm not mistaken, during third generation, yung mga computers become smarter and smarter na, and even it can do multiple applications to one. So kaya niya si multitasking ng mga functions, which is we are also using today. Okay? So here, what we have here is the IBM system, the 360, and IC-based computer na. So as you can see here, yung computer ba naman, ito yung parang cabinet lang din. But we have already here the keyboard, at the same time parang meron siyang, if you can see this one here, this one is just parang screen na nag-show lang din. Okay? Then it has automatic na mag-print or mag-result na kanyang output. Okay? So, ayan. Next is we have the fourth generation of computers. So the fourth generation of computers evolved similarly from the third generations, but on exponential levels. Okay. So integrated circuits were used to construct single silicon chip, such as we have the microprocessor. Advancement will be microprocessor. Okay. So parang fourth generation na na-establish yung mga microprocessor that we are using right now. Okay? This was only possible with the advancement of technology where engineering and scientists continue to improve how many integrated circuits could be assimilated as one. So kaya nga yung speed ng ating CPU exponential also ang kanyang increase because they try to make sure that there are millions of transistors being integrated here. It's just a very small circuit lang para much better yung functionality and marami pa yung ma-execute niya. Okay? So this example of fourth generation, this is by Apple. Okay, so medyo compact na and very similar to what we are using right now. Okay? Okay. Now, the fifth generation is basically, so the fifth generation is based on the concept of utilizing the power of microprocessors to creating AI, or the artificial intelligence, which operates similar in terms of human capabilities. Kaya ang artificial intelligence, yung terms ginagamit sa kanya. So this is slowly being actualized in the current era. So with many AI prompters, AI content generators, that is being utilized today. So for sure, you're familiar with this one. All parang trend. It's not only a trend, but it is being happening na yung parang massive adoption of the AI. Okay? Kaya nga this technology then, today, fifth generation, we are also calling data as part of the currency na. So parang bakit kailangan natin ng mga data protections and etc. Because AI uses also our data. And this is where AI becomes smarter. Okay? So again, that's the generations of computer. So just to give you some insights about AI, so this is how AI processes some information or identifies information. Kaya nga, when you use yung AI sa cellphone nyo, kaya niya ma-detect if that's an image of a person, of a dog, or etc. So for example, you have an image here, like an image of a dog. Yung ginagawa ng AI is, it will going to cut those images into segments, then pinaprocess niya into what we call as a neural network. So consider this yung mga bilog as a neural network. It will going to process this one to achieve specific output, and possibly it could identify or forecast depende sa anong kaya ng AI. So it does the processing and it can identify that that is a dog. So ito yung mga box na to is parang again as yung pinakita kanina sa let's just go back here. Okay? So it will just be a piece or part of the image. Okay? Kasi when you have an image, actually, ang ginagawa lang ng AI is it actually guesses something. Okay? But not it guesses na parang right or wrong, or it uses statistical na analysis to be able to identify kung ano yung possibility na ano tong part ng image na to. Collectively, AI is basically understanding because of statistical and related na mathematical na mga functions. Okay? Ayun. So those are the generations of computers, the five generations of computers in general. Okay? So next topic is more on the programming languages. Okay? We're still understanding programming languages. So we have different types of programming languages. Again, when we talk about programming language is some definition we're going to say it is the art of providing instructions to a computer to execute. Okay? So we have different approaches. First is procedural. Yung procedural, parang linear and sequential. Start to finish. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So that is basically the procedural. Okay? So you have start, then it is its output, it processes the input, then it outputs the data, and it ends. So, procedure. It has a very smooth and linear execution of procedures. So that is what we call as procedural programming language. Okay. Functional programming language utilizes functions that we utilize in terms of executions. Okay. So for example, this function here, Okay. So for example, this code here is basically a function. A function can be called any part of the code. So if you have 1,000 lines, if that is procedural, it executes from line 1 to line 1,000. If that is functional programming, now, it doesn't mean na dapat 1 to 1,000 yung execution ng code. It could be from 1, executes 1, 2, 3. Pag 4, if it calls a function, din si function nandun sa ika-900 line, it will jump automatically to line 100 for execution and it can go back to line 6. Okay? Because you define functions. And those are basically parang approaches then in different na execution. So for this one, you have the function of x, which is mx plus b. So this is just an execution that will be collecting for, it processes a specific list. Okay, now this is related, but a list of string is being filtered if that is equal to hello or equal to r. Okay, then it maps the string dayon. Then it uses the input as a list na output. Okay, ayun. So next is the object-oriented programming language. So when you say object-oriented programming language, we depict a specific function into a different na objects. We treat them as object. So to put it very simple, a person can be anyone. Can be a doctor, can be a patient, can be something. So a person can be object that they express in 4 ways. So for this example, a person can be a doctor, can be a nurse, can be a staff, and also can be a patient. Ang analogy niya may be that very simple, but when you say execution, then we can make use of this one for multiple execution of our codes. So may functions, may executions na ginagamit niya for it to execute specific parts of the code. So for example, you have the name and the address, then you have the specialization, certification, attending patient and symptoms, then you have your medical history. Parang every object also can be unique to other object in some specific ways. Okay? Scripting programming language uses a function of scripts to be able to execute in the database. So for example, like is PHP, which processes here inside for our database for it to execute for a possible websites like Facebook and similar. Okay? So, para nagiging intermediary and it translates information. So, for example, when you click friends, yung programming language, which is most likely PHP and ASP, it uses its scripting language to access the list of friends in the database. If meron, it will going to get or fetch those data and it will show in your page sa Facebook. So, this is basically how scripting language also works. Okay? Logical programming language, so for example, x is prime, is x modulus 2 not equal to 0, then it has also logical executions for this one. Okay? Imperative programming language, it follows similar to procedure which is step 1, step 2, and step 3. So, we will be doing another activity by next meeting. Conversion na pala next meeting. So, we will be having the conversion next meeting. So, we will be doing also question and answer and clarification once we go back to our on-site class. So, for the meantime, that ends our class or this online recording. Thank you for attention.